just after 7:30, watching some severe storms in the area. I've got two I'm keeping an eye on. One is tornado warned north of Russellville. The other one is approaching the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line. That one that's moving towards the state line has been cycling. Right now, it's actually cycled down, which is absolutely a good thing for us, and hopefully it stays that way. I want to show you what's going on now and then what's going to happen here for the rest of this evening. So let me show you right now. We've got this is looking to the north from the Bellevue overpass over there towards Uptown. You can see some of the clouds still out there, a little bit of sunshine here and there, but the big story has been the severe weather and the cells that have been out there. I mentioned this morning, if you guys caught the morning weather that I did, that they would be scattered and not everybody would see rain out of this. That is how it continues to trend. You can see some spots with no rain and probably three areas of interest to watch. I'm going to loop this real quick and show you guys how this has tracked and trended here for about the last hour or so. You can see the southern extent of the line starting to stall, and I do think this is going to stall, and it should fade as it moves farther to the south. You've got a line that developed out ahead of the boundary. The boundary is moving across northeast Oklahoma right now, but you have some storms north of Russellville. Actually, there's two areas of rotation I'm watching around Russellville, and the one that moved through Tulsa and Pryor north of Tahlequah earlier actually had a tornado warning on it. That's the storm that's moving right into Washington County. What I wanted to show you, though, was the trend of this storm. This will show the intensity, and you can see how the intensity has come down on the storm that's moving into Siloam Springs. I think there will be some hail with it. It could cycle back up. Some of these have, but it's definitely one to watch. Now, down to the south, the intensity trend has been up. Notice how these colors are getting more and more yellow out there towards Dover. So this is a cell to watch, not only because of the hail risk, but also the tornado threat with this too. This is currently where this is located is just north of Dover. There is rotation on this right here on the north side of Dover. That would be on Scenic 7 running northwest of the Scottsville area. That's tracking eastward, and you can see exactly where that rotation would be. It would be right in here. Let's see if it's on the ground. Does not look like it's on the ground at the moment. At least no debris has been thrown up into the radar beam. But there's also another area of rotation to the southwest right here. This one's not even warned yet. That's just west of Dardanelle, closer to Delaware, coming up on Nebo. Looks like where that one's located. So the one in Pope County is tornado warned. It does have strong rotation on it. The rotation is strongest here right along Highway 7, just northwest of Dover, out west of Scottsville, and then that's tracking off towards the east and northeast. Now, let me show you the storms that are about to move into northwestern Arkansas from north of Eufaula out towards Stigler. First, this storm that's crossed the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line west of Siloam Springs. This is part of that storm that was really ramped up earlier. This is a supercell storm, and if I go back in time, you'll see the northern side was tornado warned, as well as the southern side at one point in time. It pushed out some very large hail. But if I skip forward, you can see the trend has been down on this. Now, we do have some strong storms that are about to move into Siloam Springs. At the moment, it's not warned for severity. There's no severe thunderstorm warning, but expect some heavy lightning, heavy rainfall, perhaps some small hail, but nothing too big right now. That's looking west with the RDOT cam on 412 as the storm makes its way across that Arkansas-Oklahoma state line. Going back to radar, that's the storm that's moving into northwest Arkansas. That will track towards Springdale and Fayetteville. This more so for the 412 Springdale Fayetteville crowd, Johnson, Tawnytown, Elm Springs, North Fayetteville, more so than Bentonville, Bella Vista, and Pea Ridge, at least on its current track. If it does cycle up, it'll be something to keep an eye on as it moves farther north and then gets into portions of Benton County. It's pretty much straddling the line, at least as it stands now. So the other storm that's worth watching is this one. This one's north of Shakota. Let me back out and loop this for you. This thing, if it does hold together, would get close to the Fort Smith area about 2 or 3 hours from now. Remember, they're cycling those, so there's no way to know if it's actually going to keep holding together as it moves through. But it's tracking about down I-40, it looks like, and that'll be continuing to move east out across West central Arkansas later on tonight. We've had those breezy south winds. What a nice morning, though. We had some great weather early on. But these storms are tracking east and will eventually get into the river valley. What's interesting about the Shakota storm, though, is it has more of that kidney bean look to it. And if we isolate this and we try to get a feel for the rotation, this one's actually spinning a lot better. We've got 2-inch hail on this. That's larger than golf ball size. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tornado warning on this one. This one's really going here. Again, does it mean it's going to keep going? Not necessarily. Remember, the one to the north is still there. Matter of fact, if you look close, you can see the rotation on that storm southwest of Siloam Springs. You have some reds here, a little bit of greens. Yeah, it's spinning, but is it spinning anything like this? No, not at all. This one's really the one that's the strongest out there right now. In fact, moving out to the east, we've got little pockets of rotation here in that cell north of Dover and Russellville, but that one's not even spinning as strong as the one just to the west. That one south of Russellville is going to be one to watch too. There's probably some wind damage going on near Delaware. Probably some winds gusting to about 55, maybe even 60 miles an hour out towards Delaware. Back to the radar, though, let's just zoom all the way out and let's look at the trend of these storms to see how they're trending. We're looking at colors, right? So the darker the colors, the stronger the storm. And right now, you can see the ones on the uptick really is that one near Shakota. It's that one that's coming down I-40. The one that's moving across Siloam Springs looks like it's maintaining its slightly weaker intensity. That's one of the reasons the National Weather Service went ahead and dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Benton and for Washington County. The tornado warning, the only one that's out there, at least right now, is the one out near Dover. And that one has weakened compared to what it was doing earlier. If I back this up, you guys can see how this thing was really wrapped up west of Highway 7 and then kind of spun out here near Hector. Now, the one to the west, though, I think this one looks pretty interesting out there towards Oktaha. That's going to be running along Highway 69. So if you're headed down to Dallas, you leave Fort Smith, you know that out there towards the Shakota High School, you drop south on 69 where the road's all torn up. That's been under construction, I think, since I was in high school. This whole area here is where that storm is spinning the most. That's the north side of I-40, and that's tracking east. And again, will it hold together? It's tough to say. I think as we get closer to the late evening hours, some of these are probably going to fade. I don't think it's going to be especially the southern ones will probably fade a little bit faster than more of the ones to the east. But as it stands now, that's one of the stronger storms that's out there. Over another source here, and let's take a look at it. You can see where I've been watching these storms as they've been moving through. That one's just south of Siloam Springs, making its way eastward. I'm gonna see if we can pull up the Illinois River camera here. Let's see. There you go. So you've got it moving in. Wow, where is this? It looks like the rain's just starting. Not much hail out there. How big do you think the Illinois River is going to get with all this rainfall? Man, we've had some flooding on that thing lately, haven't we? So the rain looks like it's starting out there around Pedro, um, moving east. Doesn't look like there's any hail bouncing off the road. Of course, doesn't on radar. Doesn't look like there would be, at least right now. And again, that's southwest of Siloam Springs. The new scan brings it right here across the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line. And as far as wind speeds go on this, there's still some weak rotation on the southwest side. It's let's see here. It would be basically over that's East 615 Road. Maybe you know where that's at. I'm not sure. And this is out towards a road with no name. Of course, it's getting close to Memorial Day, and you know the Illinois River is usually the place to be on Memorial Day. Just don't make the mistake of bringing your 5-year-old on it later in the day and thinking that everybody won't be drunk because they were, and that was interesting with Graham. Maybe the Elk River, but then again, maybe not. It's that time of year. You get towards Memorial Day, all the college kids are out there. So this is a wide view of the showers and storms, and I'm going to loop this here. You can see those three pockets. The true front is actually to the west. It's right up through here. This thing is not going anywhere, y'all. This thing's just going to flatline here, and it's going to give us several chances of rain here for the next several days. I think these rain chances just keep rolling really right to about Saturday night into Sunday, and then we should see things start to simmer down after that. But yeah, as it stands now, it's looking pretty stormy and very active for us here for the extended period of time. I was looking at that storm out there around Russellville, around Knoxville. You can see just how latent or how much water is hidden within these clouds that are out there. That's looking at I-40 out there towards the Knoxville area. Heavy showers and storms are moving through there. That tornado is warning is actually just to the north of that camera. I don't think there's a camera that's going to be close enough, at least an RDOT cam, that's going to show that exactly where that's located. If we get a closer look here, maybe to the east in Russellville, let's see what this thing looks like. That's looking east with the RDOT cam out there towards the old Cracker Barrel and Waffle House. Boy, you got your choice there. Seems like they always put those La Quintas towards the Waffle Houses, don't they? Of course, there's a Hampton in there on the right as well. But traffic's moving good on the eastbound lanes there, and it's not really affecting I-40 as much as it's affecting Highway 7 farther to the north. I think that storm that's out west, let's go to the other radar source here. Near Muskogee. This is going to be interesting. Now, another thing, there's two things to watch with this that catch my eye. First of all, yeah, the thing's spinning. So that's definitely first and foremost what we need to keep an eye on. It wouldn't surprise me at all if all of a sudden we get some kind of tornado warning on this thing out towards Wainwright and Oakdaha. That's pretty deep rotation near Wainwright Road, tracking towards the east out towards Oakdaha Road. That's on the north side of Shakota. Matter of fact, look at that bright yellow pixel that's in there. Let's see if this thing's got any debris in the radar beam real quick. No, it doesn't look like it, at least right now. So just a fairly strong storm that keeps spinning and some pretty large hail falling on Highway 69. So hail, tornado risk, yeah. The other thing is, look at this, how it goes back to the west. I mean, it doesn't move much. Let me see if I can animate this for you, and you can get a feel for this. The movement is almost due east. So if you're in one position, let's say you're located like right here, right? This thing is going to just dump rain for hours over you. So the flash flooding threat from everything coming back in from the west is pretty high. And these little pockets of flash flooding are probably going to set up across much of our area later on tonight. Not for everybody. Hey, look at that. New tornado warning here. This one's going to be for Delaware and Darnell. Hey, it's the same spot that we were just looking at that looks like it has some rotation in it. So let's get in on that storm here. That one does include Russellville. This will be interesting to watch because I think this one probably does pass right over the camera. So I guess we'll see if we can see anything when this thing moves through. But there is a rotation on this storm. The two storms with rotation right now are located in Pope County. That's near Dover and Russellville, eastern Logan County, and northern Yell County, both under tornado warnings. Let's see if we can get a feel for exactly where these things are spinning around. Ooh, got some damaging winds here. I think the damaging wind risk is probably a little bit higher even out towards Delaware, right along, what is that, 22 that runs east, moving into Dardanelle. That damaging wind area, oh, you can see the twist right there at the last couple frames. See it right there? So it's trying to wrap up a little bit more. The inbound winds are stronger than outbound, at least right now. So that's something to watch. I think this thing is going to be moving right towards Delaware and Russellville. The one to the north doesn't look as well defined near Hector. If I was to look at both these images and say, hey, where's the tornado at right now? It doesn't look like there is one. There's just a lot of spinning going on west of Hector and west southwest of Russellville. But if you're in Russellville, this is a time to pay real close attention to this as this thing starts to move in. We want to watch out for that storm. It got some hail in it. Hail's not that big. It's about quarter size or less, at least at the moment. We'll see if that trends up. So that's the storm to watch right now. Back to the west. I think they're probably going to issue a tornado warning on this thing any second. This thing is flat wrapped up. If I was in Oakdaha, I'd move in the center of the hallway now. Same with Keefton and Shady Grove, the west northwest of Warner. This thing is really cooking. I'm sure they're watching it. Let me filter this out a little more. Right there near Oaktaha. Let's see here. I don't see any indication this would be on the ground, but man, oh man, is that thing spinning up? That is really spinning. Right there on Highway 69, north of Shakota, moving towards the east. This is what it looks like on velocity here. So you can see that kidney bean looking shape. You got quarter size hail or larger on the north side of Oaktaha out there towards Braggs. Now let's get to the storm that's here at home that's moving over Siloam Springs. Let's look for hail first. We've got a little bit of hail on this. It's smaller than quarter size, showing 0.6. So you're looking at about dime size or so out around Watts. It's not huge hail or anything. Let's look at the trend of this storm and see if it's trending up or down. I'm going to go back a couple frames and then go forward. It looks like it's maintaining its intensity. Maybe it's intensifying just a little bit out towards Siloam Springs. So let's take a look out in Siloam and see what's going on out the window there. We'll use the camera that's located with the RDOT cam looking westward. There it is. It's raining really good. The wind doesn't look to be that big of a deal, though. Can you see the flags here? Those things aren't moving that much. Not much wind with it. Some heavy rainfall moving into Siloam Springs, but at least right now it doesn't look like it's that big a deal for now. Remember, these things can cycle. I still think this one is going to probably pop out some kind of warning here soon. That thing's really spinning. Let's see here. Out near Oktaha, normalized rotation has this on the east side of Oktaha now. Base velocity showing strong rotation. And no indication there's any debris in the radar beam. So we've got a spinning storm, but we don't have anything on the ground. And then you've got a train of storms behind it. Look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a lot of strong cells moving in behind it. So that's a nonstop rain. Farther to the south, though, this one near Russellville sure is interesting. Those strong winds are on the west side of Russellville near Delaware. Let me show you some streets being affected by this. I'm going to go ahead and stop this so we don't have a going all over the place here. Here's the Arkansas River north of Delaware. That's up towards Bunker Hill on the west side of Russellville near Marina Road, Riverview Road, Damascus Road, West Main Streets. This is coming up on Tech. Uh, Helpful if I showed you it, right? Here's another look at it here. The two tornado warned cells. Russellville is included in this under the tornado warning. We also have other cells moving into Benton and Washington County that are rotating, though not as strongly as the one that we're currently watching moving into Russellville. I'm going to see if I can pull up this Dardanelle cam here. It says temporarily unavailable, probably because everybody's on it. There's Mount Nebo. Man, isn't Nebo a great place to camp? I hadn't been camping there. It's been almost a year. It's about time to take the kids up there again. I love that rim trail on Nebo. It's gorgeous. If you're new to the area and you haven't been out to Mount Nebo, make a plan to make a weekend trip, camp out there. Some of the cabins are nice. It's just a great place. Don't do it tonight. If you're out there tonight, I'm sorry. It's a bad night to camp. But right now, I bet that storm is really coming down on top of Nebo. Let's see if we can find I'm going to try to find a camera here to give you a look at what's going on. We're going to take you to exit 78, looking westbound in Russellville. So let's see here. There's exit 81. I'm going to see if I can show you where 78 is. It looks like it just went down. Let's pull it back up. So it's Dwight Mission Road exit. There it is. Here's exit 78. See it right there? So I'm going to back out. So this is the Mill Creek area. And let's see. We got that strong wind that's moving right over it. Let me just watch the camera. Let's just see what happens here with this thing. This is a tornado warned storm moving into Russellville on the west side of town. You're looking at it live from exit 78 near Dwight Mission Road. The strongest rotation with this storm is actually just to the south. It's south of Delaware. It's south of Sills. It's over there closer towards Wildcat Hollow Road, just south of 22. But it looks more like a gusting wind type of event, at least from the radar presentation right now. It is tornado warned, but the outbound winds are really weak. The inbound are a little stronger. So I think what you're looking at here is a pocket of what could be damaging winds here from near London through Dardanelle into Russellville. Right now, coming in on the west southwest side of Russellville. Ooh, look at that popped up real quick. See that red in that last frame near Dardanelle? So there's two areas of rotation now in that last scan. You have one here, and then you have one here. So you have one coming up towards Dardanelle that's stronger, damaging winds from Norristown up through Mill Creek, and then back over to Dardanelle. You have another pocket of some rotation. That's probably moving right over Tech. Tech's over there on the south part of town there. Let's take you to Highway 7. Let's see what we've got cooking here. There's a live look. Remember earlier we were looking at the Waffle House and the Cracker Barrel. Well, that's it's pretty much obscured by rain. And this is looking eastbound. So the storm is basically moving in right now out towards Russellville and towards Dardanelle. Got another storm, that's up there on Hector. It looks like a little pocket of something trying to develop south of here. This is probably some damaging wind and a lot of lightning. It doesn't concern me as much with the tornado threat. I know we're under the warning. It doesn't look as wrapped up though as the other ones. Before we get too myopic on the radio, let's on the radar, let's back out a little bit here. Let's kind of reset the whole area here before those damaging winds get into Russellville. So here's what we have going on. We have several storms that are out there. Again, they're scattered. Not everybody's going to see rain out of this round initially. You're going to get rain though in the next couple days. I think all of us will. The one that's moving into northwest Arkansas now is coming right down 412 with heavy rainfall. I'm going to look at it real quick over Siloam Springs for any hail. And I've got some hail south of town. It doesn't look like it's that big. The trend on this storm, it's been trending stronger. Look for the yellow pixels. You don't see any, right? Now you do, near Watts. So the intensity has actually come up on this storm a little bit out around Watts. As far as any rotation goes, there actually is some very weak rotation here near Watts on the south side of Siloam Springs. That's not uncommon, though. A lot of times you can get rotation on storms. A lot of times it increases the hail size of some of the storms moving through. And then we have this storm back to the west near Oaktaha, which is this thing's been going for a while here. It's still spinning up. This thing's really cooking with some spinach going on here. That is not a technical phrase, but I think one of the things that's preventing the Weather Service from issuing the warning, at least initially, see how the dark red and the dark yellow, they're not touching each other. This is a very broad mesocyclone, a very broad circulation. So it's not something that's wrapped up at the moment that would be a cause of immediate concern. Although I think you could probably justify a tornado warning on it just based on the wind speeds. And we'll see how this thing wraps up even more. If these two colors start getting closer together, though, that means that meso's wrapping up more. In fact, if we go upstairs and we look at the radar up, let's tilt it up. Boy, a lot of the rotation's mid-level rotation. That's looking, where are we? 6,800 feet above the ground, and you still got it rotating about 10,000 feet up. So this thing's going. So this is one that we need to keep an eye on as it makes its way into Sallisaw and Muskogee County. Let's go back over to these stronger storms that we've been watching. We'll take you to Russellville at exit 7, where we've been following the Waffle House, and you can't really see it that much. Um, oh, I was thinking of eggs over my hammy, but that's more of a Denny's thing, isn't it? Anyway, the traffic's hard to see here. You've got some heavy wind moving in, a little bit of rotation just to the south of this area that's out around Dardanelle. It's not very strong. The strong damaging winds, though, look like they're coming right over Russellville. Looks like right now over the central part of town. Let's see if we can get the Mill Creek cam back up real quick and see if we can see any wind on this. Looking at the trees there. Of course, everybody's got their hazard lights on. They can't see. It's, you know how it is driving in this stuff. And the amount of moisture in the atmosphere is crazy. I'm sitting here sipping water, and the outside of the cup is just soaked. There's so much relative humidity out there. The atmosphere is very humid today with those south winds, and that's going to be squeezed out of the storm here with heavy rain over the next several days as this thing moves on through. So that's exit 78 in Russellville. Farther back towards the west near exit 69, that's closer to London. This thing has already moved through. So, boy, that guy doesn't know what he's driving into, huh? Neither does the Amazon truck. So if your package is late, that's why. But here it is on radar moving east. And then I'm going to try to pull up another cam. You know, the 7 cam was good. I wonder, let's see if we can look west from exit 83. There we go. Yeah, that's moving awfully slow there. Those power lines in the middle of the screen? I guess so. Looks like they're going under them, so they're not on the ground. That's good. Traffic moving really slow. This is the east side of Russellville looking west. So we're essentially looking into some of those stronger winds that are moving into town. The strongest part of the storm looks to be right over Russellville. I wonder if the Dardanelle camera's back up. Let's check. No, it's not. Let's go back to the exit 81 cam here. And well, before we do that, let's pull up. Let's see what it looks like on radar first at that exit. So if we're going to exit 81, I believe we're right here. Yeah, there's 81 on the screen. So this is where East Aspen Lane, Lakefront Drive, and Highway 7 right there towards North Arkansas Avenue, which takes you south into Tech. That's where the strongest winds are located. So we can see those winds on the, let's go full screen on that thing. There you go. Um, on the Waffle House cam. And look at the trees on the right too. So now we got some stronger winds that are starting to move in. This is again 7 exit or scenic 7's the highway that's there. Um, this would be exit 81, the exit you get off on to go to Tech. Those strong winds are right along North Arkansas Avenue, North Phoenix Avenue, West Main Street, South Glenwood, Bradley Lane, East 4th, East Parkway, East H Street. Um, then that takes you back down to the south. That weak rotation is located near Shepherd Drive and Skyline Road. And no, it is not strong. It doesn't look like anything I think would put out a tornado immediately. But certainly a lot of heavy wind and rain. And of course, when you get tornado warning at home, it's always something to be a little concerned with, right? I mean, these things can spin up pretty quick this time of year. May, anything really goes. You get some wild stuff that happens in May. So that's the storm over this exit. We're going to go back to this camera in a second. I wanted to go to radar and show you this other rotation pocket that's out over Hector. This is also spinning. You can see the red outbound, green inbound. They do have a tornado warning on it. It's right there on the southeast side of Hector. A closer look at that would show you where that rotation is. That's going to be Llewellyn Loop. And then if we back up to the north, that's going to be closer to Pine Street and near Hector. So those two areas are seeing some weak rotation in the storm. The stronger storm here that's about to move over Russellville looks like it's starting to hit our Waffle House cam now. There it is. Look at those trees on the right side of the screen. These people are just driving in it like it's nothing. I hate driving in rain like this. What's worse is driving in that hail, right? It's so loud. It's terrifying. You mean you're, oh, look, there's the Amazon truck. Is it the same one? Probably not. But that's looking east. So those cars are going eastbound. The ones on the left side are going westbound. Certainly less traffic though than Eclipse Day. Boy, that was a mess, wasn't it? I'm just curious if we're going to see any power flashes out of this. Just watching this camera live as the winds come over. This storm, the strongest winds, are actually right now that dark green color right there. Strongest winds are moving over exit 7, which is right here. Actually, they're maybe just to the east. Um, so the strongest part of the storm in Russellville is right now with that rotation that's actually moving just southeast of this camera. See the dark red area, the outbound winds? So you've got the outbound and then inbound. So you have it essentially right here over Russellville. Not wrapped up tight. I'm sure sirens are going off. It sounds pretty scary out there. Right now, it doesn't look like this thing is on the ground. Let me go back to another radar source. Let's see here. Here it is again. Boy, those damaging winds are. Well, this is just east of that camera. It's close though. Basically looking at it down I-40. Of course, the traffic's moving slow. A lot of folks getting off on the exit saying, "I'm not doing this." Not much lightning, at least right now, just by looking at the RDOT cam that's out there. It's hard to drive in this torrential rainfall, and really the atmosphere is just so waterlogged out there that it's probably likely we're going to get more and more of these heavy rain events here for the next couple of days, I think, unfortunately. Occasionally a lightning strike, not much though. Back to radar. Strong winds on I-40 right there now. That's right over Russellville, moving towards what exit's that? That's I'm looking at 78. I'm looking at Mission Road. It's still raining pretty good. Weir Road on the east side here. Let's see here. There you go. I'm gonna try to find this over here to show you what this looks like. So this is looking west. So we're actually looking into the storm. Weir Road is, I'll show you here on the radar. It's right here in the middle of the screen. So see it right here? I'm gonna back up. So the RDOT cam is there on exit 83. So we are in that dark green color. So this is what's happening down at the ground. New radar scan puts this thing, rotation's basically right over this camera. It's not tight though. I don't think you're gonna get a tornado out of it, at least right now. There's a tornado warning on it. Don't play around with any May storms. May storms go nuts pretty quick. Um, but this is essentially what's happening with that storm that's spinning over Russellville on the east side of town. I think for the most part, the tech area of Russellville, that's the worst of the storm is just east of you. If there were to be a tornado in this, it would be right here. And again, that camera that we're looking at is right here. So here's the circulation. So yeah, we're looking basically right at where it would be if anything were to pop out of this storm. Really think it need to be a little bit more, a little bit tighter probably before we got a tornado out of this. You'd want to see that rotation really wrapped up. Then, by the way, the storm to the north has weakened a little bit out towards Hector. The rotation isn't as strong as the one that's in Russellville. And the lightning's come down too. You can kind of tell just by the radar presentation that the storm in Russellville has more lightning, and the red and the greens are a lot brighter than the storm that's to the north. But again, that rotation right now passing essentially right over this RDOT cam on I-40, and frankly doesn't look that terrible. Of course, it's hard to see on these images, especially as it gets later at night and you've got rain on the lens and occasionally some lightning strikes. You can see the camera glitching here and there. But what I'm looking for on here is out in the distance. I'm looking for any kinds of blues or purples that flash. Those would indicate to me power flashes from wind taking down a power line or something. And that's just not something that is happening, at least right now. So far, so good on that storm, but still some very strong winds on now on the east, northeast side of Russellville, tracking to the northeast. Let's reset here and go for a wide view. Time now is 8:05. We do have showers and storms that are ongoing elsewhere across the region. We have two that we're watching. We have one that's tracking east towards Vian and Salisaw, and then another one that's coming right down 49. So let's look at this sucker here. This is just to the east of Siloam Springs, moving towards Elm Springs. Why don't we first take a look at the wind speeds? Let's look at winds and see if we got anything spinning in this thing. The lightning isn't as impressive in this storm. We do have a little bit of spinning here near Highway 16 on the southwest side of the storm. It's right here. It's not that strong. Um, the storm right now actually does not have a severe thunderstorm warning on it as it cruises down 412. In fact, I'm gonna look at a wide view, and I'm gonna go to the other radar source. I think an analyst does a little bit of a better job here. Let's hit loop on this thing. So what's going on? It's interesting. The southern end of this line is going to kind of flail out. I think we get the rain in Fort Smith. I don't think the intensity is going to be quite as bad as some of the other stuff that's going on. This one in Northwest Arkansas has really, really come down. We're really fortunate for that. All right, so let's go over to the analyst and look at this a little better. Boy, that thing is breathing, isn't it? Good grief. Yikes. Go back to this camera. I know I'm jumping all around, guys, but this is right over this camera right now. That's pretty wrapped up. I mean, you'd want to see a little bit more outbound winds with that darker red color before you had a tornado. But if there is a tornado threat, it's on the east side of Russellville, right there, basically right over the camera. I just don't see it on here. Let me go back to this source. Let's look back at the cell a little more. I'm gonna stop the radar here. Let's see if I can find where it is. Here we are. So it's right over Main Street and Old Cove Road, I believe, near Bradley Cove. 64 kind of parallels Russellville. It looks like RDOT's moving the camera. Want to see what they're doing? Well, they moved it, and then they moved it back. So now you guys think I'm a liar. Maybe they'll move it again. Maybe not. If they do, though, I'm gonna be fast with the switcher. So this is gonna be let's see, that's 363 running northeast. That's near Pottsville, though. East side of Russellville. There's Bradley Cove, Maine. That's exit 84. Here's Weir Road here. So the camera's here. So that rotation's actually looking towards the east. That's probably why those folks down Little Rock are like, hey, move the camera a little bit. Let's see what's going on there. So they moved it and they didn't see anything and then they moved it back. But I think there's another camera that's out there east of Weir Road near exit 84. Let's see if we get this one here. There we go. So this is exit 84 now. This is over by the Flying J. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'll show you where we are. It's at exit 84 here, right? Yeah. So here we go. Rotation's actually east of here. So let me show you. So we're looking at the cameras right here. The tornado would be east right here. And it looks like RDOT's moving it. Let me get it before they move it back. Actually, they did move it. That's what they were looking at. So they actually moved the camera. They're playing the same game we are, it looks like. They're following this storm across. These two reds and greens that are stronger together. Oh, they moved it again, didn't they? Watch this. Look here. That's pretty tight. That is cause for concern right there. That would be, where are we? Hannah Road? It's wrapped up. That's looking east. That's looking right at where a tornado would form. Russellville in the clear. This is northwest of Pottsville, west of Mars Hill. Isn't there a lake over there? Yeah, Gala Creek Lake. Gala Creek Lake. If you're in that area, I would be very concerned. There, I mean, it's not like you're seeing a tornado like what we've seen before, where these bright colors are popping off, and you've got confirmed tornadoes with debris in the beam. I don't see any debris in the beam right now. Of course, it would be pretty high up. That is definitely something to keep an eye on here near Russellville. Let's go back and look at this storm across Elm Springs now in Town. This is coming down 244. It's east of Siloam Springs. Heaviest part of the storm is on 412 near Pedro. And you know what? Our friends at RDOT actually have a camera. It's the Pedro camera. It's not as good as the Waffle House camera, but it'll do. Let's take a look. There it is. Brighter here, huh? Of course, that's looking west. I think the worst is moved over. Boy, look at the fog coming off the mountains. Isn't that beautiful? You can't see anything because I don't have the button pushed. Come on, Lewis. There you go. Again, that's looking west on 412. The heaviest is actually just passed through. Great shot there, though. Probably going to get some more showers later on tonight out of this thing. It's a wide view of the storm. Let's look at it. Let's see if we can find another camera shot where this thing's coming into town. One of these Springdale cameras may work. Let's see. Go from Don Tyson looking northbound. All Arvest ballparks are on the left. I haven't been to a game yet. Of course, whenever I go, I try to watch the game. I can't because the kids want to ride the train. They want to go to the bounce house. They want to play the batting cages. I'm like, do you guys want to watch baseball? I don't get it. But I'm also not 8. Although sometimes I act like it. Let's look for a rotation. Let's go back to analysts. This thing is nasty. This is around Russellville. That okay, so that's that's going. It's not on the ground, but man, oh man, they're gonna probably reissue a warning on this. Look at this right here. That is some tight rotation. That's northeast of Pottsville. Out of all the storms that are out there, if we're gonna get a tornado, it's gonna be this one east of Russellville, northwest of the Atkins area. That's the one that's really going. Back to the west, that other storm rotations come way down on it. Look, see where it was earlier? See how strong it was? Now watch. It's gone. Not as much. So that one's come down. That's good. We always like to see them come down. And then we'll go back up here into west of Springdale, all along 412 here. And we've got a pocket of rotation south of Watts. We have another one here southeast of Siloam Springs. Neither look that strong. I mean, compare these two colors here, right? These colors here. Obviously, there's more wind in that Russellville storm than there is in the storm that's moving into Springdale right now. But not to discount it, man. There's some heavy rain in this. There's probably even some hail. Let's see. Let's check the trend of this thing and see if we're trending up or down. It trended back up south of Siloam Springs. Now it looks like it's trending back down. Hopefully that trend continues. And as they say in the weather world, the trend is your friend. So hopefully that thing will wind down a little more. Nothing in Fort Smith, nothing in Greenwood. Everything's good now. Will these storms make it in? Maybe. I think the front stalls out somewhere around I-40, so we're probably going to get some storms. Looks like a wind report came in from emergency managers near Oktahah. Several reports of trees down. That's not surprising. If you've been watching this stream, you've seen this. These things have been really going strong as it crossed over 69 earlier. Right now, the heaviest wind in this is moving out towards south of Bragg's. Right there. There's actually some spinning there too. It's not that strong. Strong gusty winds out towards Springdale here. Bentonville, boy, it starts just south of you guys. Here's another wide view with a loop. It's interesting to watch how these things evolve, isn't it? The northern supercell on this just completely died. The southern one has cycled 3 or 4 times. Let's see here. Trying to give you a shot. Oh, this is gorgeous. There you go from Bellevue looking north towards Uptown. This is Rogers. That storm is, it is just north of us. You can actually see the sunset this evening. Isn't it something? You go to the south and you run into that. It's coming down. I'm just curious what some of this stuff looks like a little farther to the south. I don't see much wind that's out there. I want to take you out towards Elm Springs where this thing's starting to move in. That's looking northbound. So the Walmart's there on the left. Then look how green everything is. We've had such a wet spring. That's great, isn't it? It's always a bummer when you get into July and there's burn bans. You can't do fireworks. So we've had the rain. Let's check sunset. Of course, we're still a little farther out from it. This is sunset in 49. Hasn't really approached there yet. I think it's still mostly on 412, so it hasn't gotten close to these cameras just yet. Probably will soon. I'm gonna take you to exit 67. This is closer to Fayetteville, towards that interchange where people can't make up their mind whether what lane they're gonna go into. If they're gonna get on the Fulbright Expressway, if they're gonna get off on Garland, no one ever knows. Or if they do know, they just drive really fast and terrible and get in front of you at the last minute. So that's fun. But as it stands now, that's not that impressive. It looks looking at that camera. Back over to the radar images. What I was kind of watching is this southern one here. Is it loops? When you can get the southern cell access to a bunch of breezy south winds on the south side, you can sometimes get it to enhance and get a little stronger. Let's see here. Eh, I don't think it's that like that great, at least right now. Going back to the camera here. Looks like there's a is that a state trooper or is that just someone that's cranky and flashing their lights? That looks like I can't tell what it is. You never know what you're going to run into on I-49. There's another wide view of the storm, but hail. A little bit south of Siloam Springs, not much. Heavy rain coming into Springdale now. Another severe storm near Braggs and Gore tracking east. And then, of course, this gaggle of tornado warned cells in Russellville. So now that we've established what's going on to the west, let's look at this one again in Russellville. This is really the strongest one that's out there so far. Man, things going. Look at this thing. Let's see. Not on the ground. Curious if they've got it moving east at 40. Central Conway County, Southeast Pope County, both under tornado warnings. Let's see. Okay, so I think this thing could probably put down a tornado any second. It's out towards Atkins. Atkins always gets hit, right? Let's see if we can see it spinning if we loop it. Yeah, you can. Look real close. See that thing? You can actually, this is wild, isn't it? Back out a little bit. Just look at the green colors. You can see both of them actually spinning. Isn't weather fascinating? The one to the north looks like garbage. I think you get damaging winds out of it. I'm not as worried about the tornado threat on the one to the north. The one to the south, though, near Russellville? Man, this is wrapped up. Of course, there's no RDOT cams north of Atkins. I can try to see what we've got out there, but I don't know that we'll find anything right away. There is a cam in Atkins. It's looking eastbound, so here's what it looks like. Some of those strong winds are moving over Atkins now. Don't think you would see the tornado on this if there was one to form, just because we're looking more towards Blackwell. Um, if there was a tornado, it would be to the left of this camera shot. But boy, the lightning is intense, isn't it? You can see that lightning really going out in the distance. And check for debris again. Nope, I don't see any. I may switch radar sources here in a moment. We'll go over to Little Rock's radar. That may give us a little bit of a better shot. Let's see, that's Pottsville looking east. Now we need something looking north in this area here if we can get a good look at it. I wonder about Blackwell looking west. Okay, so this one may give us a better shot of it. Let's see here. So you see where Blackwell is, right? It's right here. So we're looking west from Blackwell on the so we're looking right at it. So let's see if we can find anything here. That's looking west. Oh, there you go. Look in the distance, guys. You see the wall cloud? Right there. So there it is. That is northwest of Blackwell, north of Atkins. If you put this in relation to Blackwell, let's see here. We're looking 6 miles to the west northwest, but that is the wall cloud. You can see the lowering here. It's on the top right of the screen. Ooh, big old lightning strike. So if you look on the right and then you look towards the end of that tree line and you see the light spot at the bottom and the dark spot on the top, that's the wall cloud. We're looking right into the rotation in Conway and eastern Pope County. What I'm trying to discern here is whether or not we're seeing power flashes on the right or if we're seeing lightning, whether it's blue or purple or whether it's white. Tough to tell on these cameras, isn't it? What a great shot. This is looking right at the heart of that storm. In fact, if you look at the tree line on the left, you can see how it's starting to lighten up a little bit. Again, looking west, this is north of Atkins, Arkansas, at the wall cloud that's moving through. The great thing about where Blackwell is we're actually looking west northwest. So we're looking right towards the lowering here. Visually, I mean, you guys are seeing it with me. There's no funnels or anything dropping out of that thing. Fascinating to see, though, isn't it? I think we may be looking at a smaller pocket of rotation instead of the deep one. I don't know. Watch it and see here what's going to happen. This is radar again on it. So again, we're right here and we're looking right up the interstate. We're looking right to the west, north. We're looking right at this thing. We're looking right at the wall cloud. Let's just go back to the video. Let's see what happens here. Look at these clouds rising into it. You see it above the tree line on the left? The clouds are rising up. So that's the updraft base. That's where the storm's getting fed by that warm, moist air. I'm also off camera looking for debris on the storm. I do not see any. I know we have those storms that are ongoing that are moving into Fayetteville, but I want to keep on this storm for just a second just because of the intensity of it. I'm changing a radar source here to the National Weather Service radar that is located in Little Rock. Guys, this is the wall cloud right on the RDOT cam. Near Blackwell, looking west northwest. It's going to move right over this thing. I've changed radar sources, so here's what the new radar image looks like. Again, Blackwell is right here. We're looking down the interstate to the west. We're looking right at the wall cloud. If we put a marker on it and we look west, we're looking, the tornado would be 5 miles west of this camera shot. There it is. You can see the rotation here at the top of the screen. So that's it. So if this thing produces a tornado, you guys are going to see it right on this camera shot. And looking west down I-40. This is the only storm in Arkansas right now that could put down a tornado. I see a pretty deep mezzo on this, north of Atkins. It's kind of wild to see this live, isn't it? I'm going to check it again for any kind of rotation. I'm sorry, not rotation, debris. I don't see any. Tells me it's not on the ground. Of course, we visually can't see anything, but you can have tornadoes without that condensation funnel. You don't necessarily have to have the funnel. If you follow some of those low clouds, if you just keep your eye on one of them, you can tell it's rotating. Again, this is I-40 if you're just tuning in near Atkins, looking from Blackwell at a wall cloud, tornado warned storm in eastern Pope County moving into Conway County. Off camera, I'm looking at this again. I'm checking for debris. I don't see any. I'm also watching the clouds. If you follow the road down to the end where the bright lights are and you look straight up, what I'm doing is I'm watching those clouds and I'm seeing if they're lifting up into the sky. I'm also looking for any kind of lowering here. Wall cloud's going to pass right over this camera. That's wild. These people don't know what they're driving into. Especially that guy. He's coming up on those trucks fast. He's probably from Texas. Let's go back to the radar source so you guys can get a look at this and we'll go back to it. So again, we're looking from Blackwell to the west. Blackwell right here, west, rotation. There you go. Right in this center of the screen now. Wall cloud is about to move over this camera. Wind speeds should change directions. Right now they're moving, the wind should be coming right west, right towards the red lights on the screen. And then the winds will change directions towards those white lights or the eastbound traffic that's coming in. Again, looking at the top of the base of the cloud, though, near the RDOT logo, you can see those clouds lifting up into the storms. That is truly the base of the updraft that's there. And the wall cloud about to move over this camera. No visual sign of a tornado. A very pronounced lowering here, though. At the base, I don't see any signs of power flashes or anything like that down to the surface. Off camera, I'm looking for any rotation, any debris in the beam. I don't see any debris. I don't see a tornado that's on the ground, but I do have a pretty rapidly rotating wall cloud here and radar very active with some intense rotation here. And that's right over Blackwell, right over this camera here on the top right of the screen. Looks like it's probably going to move out of frame here in a second, but hey, you know what? Let's just watch it till it moves out. You never know what you're going to see when you're looking live, right? It's also a lot harder to see things as it gets darker. But I don't see any power flashes. I don't see any debris in the radar beam. So definitely a good sign for us here. And they're probably going to be getting some heavy rain shortly in Blackwell. If I go back over to the radar source, you can hear Blackwell, see the hook. So we're looking west. We're basically looking right in the hook. When that wall cloud just passed over, it's passing over the camera right now. Looks like we just picked up a tornado vortex signature here on it. Right there. See the little triangle? Problem is, doggone thing is to the right of that camera now, so we can't really see as much as we could earlier. Keep it on here for just a second or two here. Off cam, looking for debris. Still no tornado debris on this. Man, that is a wrapped up storm on the east side of Atkins, northwest of Morrilton, with the tightest rotation 2 miles north of this camera site or just to the right. You guys saw the wall cloud pass over it here just a moment ago. So far, so good. And checking for tornado debris, and I don't see any. We saw more the other night when we moved through with some of these storms. Another storm out there towards Gravelly looks like it picked up. Is that a new one? I think it. Look at the hail on. There's no warning on this yet. What? Oh, there will be. That thing's spinning too. So we got a couple spinners out there. That one's out there closer to Yell County. Let's. I'm gonna change radar sources again for us. Again, we were on that source in Little Rock to look at that storm in Russellville, kind of halfway in between two. So now I'm gonna look at these storms that are here in Lowell and in Springdale. Got some strong winds that are just west of Town. I don't think it's that intense. There's even a little bit of very weak rotation east of Watts. It also does not look that intense to me. This looks more like a heavy shower that's going to be passing over Springdale and Johnson and Fayetteville. As of right now, I would not be concerned with a tornado or even any hail. The trend on this has been down. Here it is again. Let's see how it's been trending. If we don't have a lot of frames to look at because I just switched sources. But it's about the same. I mean, you got some small hail with it. This storm west of Fort Smith is tracking. Is that almost due east? Oh, it looks like it. A little more developing around Tahlequah. Problem with this, though, guys, is this stuff is going to be going on for like 4 days. So I'm probably not going to catch every one of these storms that move through. Um, but stay weather aware and have the apps downloaded. You can download the Oz Weather app. I'll do updates on there. You can download a number of the local TV station apps, whether it's 5 News or 4029 or KNWA. Dan and Scott and Darby, they're great meteorologists that are going to be watching this nonstop. I've been a meteorologist in May before. I guess I am now. But covering these storms in May on TV is crazy. You live at the TV station. I used to actually have a cot behind the set and I would sleep there. That's not fun. Now I can go like 2 rooms over and I'm good to go. Um, the point is just have a way to get weather information because there's going to be some very active weather here for the next several days.